Welcome to Unleashed Opinion, boldly challenging the powers that be while keeping liberals in their place with conservative ideals and common sense solutions.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Unleashed Opinion. We're live and worldwide once again. Deacon's out doing a family thing this evening, but I've got Tim in the house this evening, so...
Hey, here we go. Let's do this.
It's going to be interesting. Oh, boy, we got people tuning in already. We got Mark Stevenson, Steve Snyder, Bill Thompson, Eddie Durrell. All right.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. I'm sure we're going to get a few more out there, too. A big thank you out to our service members out there doing what they do, putting their lives, their families' lives on hold for our sake. So, you know, it's not an easy job. Pretty thankless sometimes, but greatly appreciate them. Big thanks to John. We're back in the studio this evening, not doing this thing from my porch, which is kind of nice, so we can take some calls and we can use a couple videos. The listeners out there who give us some messages and things to talk about, it helps a ton. Always need a little help when we can get it, which is most of the time, so... the guys out there in the garage, Route 125. See, Stoke just tuned in. All right. I'm sure there's a couple people out there with him. You guys are awesome. The Fulton County connection, I'm sure they'll be chiming in here shortly. Correction staff, especially WICC and first responders, greatly appreciate what you're doing out there, too. They're getting some more thankless jobs, but I guess somebody's got to do it, so...
Yeah, we did it.
We did
a little bit of it anyway, didn't we?
For a little while, yep. Then got out when the getting was good.
Very good. Perfect timing.
Yep. Oh, we got Bob Smith out there. Stoker says 125 is here, so that's good to know.
Here we go.
Okay, for something positive, you may have seen it on our page. A sergeant came back from deployment, and his son didn't know that he was coming back, and he's a Taekwondo class. And we've seen a lot of these videos, but this one is super good. Let's take a look at that. Now, his son is blindfolded, so it's part of their training.
You were in Taekwondo, Smitty. What is that, a drill you guys do a lot?
They didn't do that to me. I had to see what I was going to do. Wow, that's awesome.
You know, those videos always give me goosebumps.
Don't they, though? They really do.
And you know what? And I don't mean to take anything away from it at all, but the guy's home. You know, I mean, that's an exciting thing, but I think I've cried at more of these than anything.
I know. It's amazing. They get you every time. All these you see when it's a surprise.
Every single time homecoming. I'm crying like a baby when I see him. I'm like, man, the guy got home. He's safe. Everything's good. Why am I crying?
Yeah.
I should just be happy. You know, you want to cry, watch him deploy. That's the worst part.
Oh, boy, tell me. Oh, hey, we got Roy Smith out there this evening, too. All right. Once again, I want to hit the iGold thing, which is the Illinois Gun Owners Lobby Day in Springfield, Illinois, tomorrow. And that starts at 10:30. And that starts at the bank of Springfield Convention Center, which used to be the Prairie Capital Convention Center. The doors open at 10:30. And you walk in, you get some type of packet. It has a bunch of information in it. The program begins at 11:45. And then there's a march to the Capitol at 1 p.m. After a brief rally at the Lincoln Steps at the end of the march. They head inside the Capitol. Inside the Capitol, you locate your legislature's office, which they're probably not going to be there, especially if they're supporting these gun bills, which we will talk about here in just a second. And you have a lobby card you can present to your legislator or their secretary. Be aware that to the BOS Center, the Bank of Springfield Center, or the Prairie Capital Convention Center, whatever you want to call it, is a no-carry zone. And so do not carry a weapon there because there are checkpoints, and there you will be going to the Stratton building where they have restrooms and a cafeteria, and at some point in time you'll be going to the Capitol. All these areas are no carry zones, so do not bring a weapon.
Whoa. I gotta stop you right there. Who decides a no carry zone?
Well, I think that's our legislatures.
Okay, but I mean, doesn't the no carry zone, isn't that covered by the Second Amendment?
Well, one would think, but We're also in Illinois.
Well, I mean,
I know.
What other constitution? Where else can you? Oh, hey, you can't talk here. You can't have the First Amendment. We're going to search you without your permission here. I mean, where else can you supersede or an amendment? Where can you do that?
Just we're our super knowledgeable legislators, so we can, I guess. So,
okay, go. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just wondered why nothing else gets superseded like that. But all of a sudden we can do. Oh, you can't carry in Walmart. Well, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because we have the Second Amendment, and you look around these mass shootings. A majority of them, if not all of them, are done in gun-free areas.
Gun-free zones. And again, where's that in the Constitution?
Yeah,
because I didn't see that in the Second Amendment.
It's not.
I read it. I did read it a couple times, and I just never saw where it said, but we'll have a gun-free zone right here.
There is no buts in it.
Yeah, I didn't see that. In fact, didn't they put a secondary, this cannot be infringed upon?
Yeah, and it's on our cooler cup here. Yeah. The second part says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But they keep pushing this right all the time, especially here in Illinois.
Look, I want to tell these people, I mean, let's just stop arguing about this. You're not going to take anybody's guns. It's not going to happen. I understand we have to keep fighting for those rights, but you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen.
No, I don't think it is either.
They tried it once.
It didn't work out.
It did not work.
Nope. They got their ass whooped.
They got whooped. That's. I mean, why do we even discuss this? I mean, there's really a lot of important things that need to be talked about that we are letting happen that we didn't let happen then. Taxation without representation, government gone wild. I mean, it's seriously tyranny at this point, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, and you're right. There's a lot better things we could be doing rather than trying to infringe upon the Second Amendment. But our legislatures, with all their infinite wisdom and knowledge, tend to want to do that anyway.
I have to think the liberal side, honestly, makes a lot of money. They must get money from gun dealers because every time they do this, people buy more and more guns. You think you're helping something? They got to be getting kickback somewhere. Seriously.
And you're right. Every time they want to pass gun legislation, sales of weapons go up, ammunition goes up.
Just for every time they open their mouth. I mean, every time Hillary Clinton opened her mouth, people bought an AR. And I'm like, are you guys giving her money? Seriously.
It could be. Stranger things have happened.
I'm telling you, if they didn't, they probably should have.
Yeah.
She sold more ARs than anybody I know.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. Also, getting back to the iGold thing, there's parking garages in Springfield, non-street parking. Also consider carpooling. I got something else on here too, I think. Anyway, let's stop at that. Anyway, the bills are talking about, and you can look these up and read the text on this stuff. What they want to claim is assault weapons ban, and that's where you have to, if your semi-automatic weapon reaches the criteria for what they call an assault weapon, they want you to register with the state police. If you don't do that, you're going to be a felon within like 300 days after this act is passed. And this is SB 0107. And you can go to the IGA or ILGA.gov and look these bills up so you can read the full text on them. There's another one where they want to charge you $25 to register your weapons. The one you're legal to have, the state police or our legislatures want you to register these things with the state police so everybody knows what you got. And we all know that the first step to confiscation is registration, so it's just one step closer. And like you were saying, Tim, the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed, but they want to do it anyway.
It says, I mean, very clearly, you just read it.
Yeah.
We can have a weapon. We can keep and bear arms. So start arguing this thing. Let's get back to basics. You're not taking my gun. I'm a huge Second Amendment fan. I'm not a big gun owner, but I'm telling you right now, you're not going to take it. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Well, the other part is if the Second Amendment falls, you can't defend yourself.
The rest of them.
The rest of them are gone. They're gone. The other bill is HB 0888, and this is where they want to charge you $2 to register all your social media accounts with the state police so they can check on you to make sure you're not saying anything stupid or hateful out there on social media. So they can, if they deem what you say is hateful or threatening, that they'll come take your weapons.
Should you take this off social media then? Because, I mean, obviously they're going to take your guns because you say hateful stuff.
Well,
I mean, seriously,
I'm saying logical stuff.
Is this what they're talking about, though? Honestly, to have an opinion is if somebody deems my opinion hateful, is it hateful or is it they're just a wuss?
I'm going to go with the second part.
Okay, so I mean, who determines what hateful is?
Well, it's going to be the state police and some legislator pulling their string, I'm sure. So it's going to be some liberal out there.
You mean a state policeman with a gun is going to decide that I cannot have a gun?
Right.
I know a lot of state troopers that probably don't agree with that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a bunch of them out there. Anyway, the social media one, they want to charge you $2 to do that. And then HB 1467, where they want you to... if you buy ammunition, the person you buy it from has to write all this stuff down. They want you to register your ammunition. They want you to write down the date of the transaction, purchaser's name and their birthday, their address, purchaser's FOID card number, ammunition, amount, caliber, manufacturer's name, or any distinguishing marks, and so on and so forth. So they want you to register your ammunition. So they want you to register your guns, your social media, and your ammunition. So they want to know everything about it. But this is a free country, right?
Right.
Right.
This is just. I can't. I mean, you can't even make this crap up. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't have. 10 years ago, we would have laughed if you'd have said that. If you'd have came up and just told me they're going to look at my social media and determine whether I need to own a weapon or not, or if you had to register every round. What are you serious here?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
What do you have to register next? You got to register every gallon of gasoline you burn? This is never going to stop.
You have to understand, without any question, that this attack on weapons means the attack is on the Constitution itself.
Right, on the attack on your freedom.
You have to take away the one thing. If you're going to fight a war, you have to take away the one thing that the people have to defend themselves. It's a weapon.
Yep, that's right.
They continue to try to make legal gun owners illegal or criminals. How about you do something, and we've talked about this before, how about you do something that makes the criminals using guns more liable for what they did?
There you go.
I mean, seriously, let's aim it. I don't think anybody in the right mind would say a school shooting or a mass shooting or anything like that isn't a terrible event.
Well, absolutely it is.
But it's the person that created it that's the terrible person, not me.
Yeah. Exactly. The actions of a few are the majority is getting punished for. And here again, they say, "Oh my God, these assault weapons, these AR-15s, and they're bad." That gun did exactly what the person behind it wanted it to do. It's the person that caused the crime, not the gun.
The gun's the tool. I'm the weapon.
Right. Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
I mean, I just saw that. I hope I don't get my guns taken away because I saw it on social media. This is akin to because a drunk driver kills an innocent sober driver, we should take all the sober driver's license away and not let him drive. Yeah, it's the same thing. That's the stupidest crap I've ever heard in my life.
I know.
Stop doing this, people. And I mean, they're pushing it to a point, and it keeps pushing. It keeps pushing to people that have not studied history and realize at some point it's going to break, and it's not going to happen.
It's going to be ugly if it does break. Oh, and I hope it doesn't. I hope our legislators would, like with this iGold thing, they see the people rallied out in the street and say, you know what, maybe this isn't such a good idea because I really like my job in office, and these people are liable to vote me out of my office and my power. And
that's what happens. We have both sides, our side, the conservative side, and the liberal side. If you have the extremes arguing, what about the 80% in the middle? What about us that just say, look, once we get involved, if we were involved now, this wouldn't be a conversation. If you voted your conscience and you got involved in the procedure, this wouldn't be an argument yet. Because, I mean, seriously, you can go out there, especially around here. I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't think everybody should have a gun. But quite honestly, the vast majority of people believe in the Second Amendment, and they're going to defend it.
Sure, absolutely. Because the vast majority of the people have the common sense to know that if you lose this one, you're going to lose them all. It's just a short amount of time.
It's real simple, but I can't believe that the stupidity going on. You know, look, if you're on the other side and you're against it, fine. Give me an alternative. Give me an alternative. You tell me some way I can protect my constitutional rights without a weapon. Tell me how I do that.
They're not going to give you
Obviously,
an alternative.
talking isn't going to do it.
No, it's not. One of the other bills out there that we're talking about here is HB 3553, and that's where they're banning the sanctuary counties for guns. Now, you've seen before out there where you have sanctuary counties for illegals, and that's okay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
But when you have a sanctuary county that follows the Second Amendment, that's somehow bad and should be banned. That's a bunch of crap.
You know what? Do these people not realize this is how we started this country?
Exactly.
They keep telling us the same things that we ran from in England and came over here and then got tired of it and decided just to kick their ass.
Right. Exactly.
It's going to happen again.
Won't be the first time. No.
I'm very afraid that we're looking at another civil war in the unfortunately very near future, because I think people get the wrong impression that the silent majority, because they're silent, aren't able to defend themselves.
Or won't defend themselves because it'd be wrong.
They're very wrong. That's, you got to pick the side that's going to win. I'm picking the side with the guns. I mean, seriously, you got to use your head. Every veteran out there, everybody, myself included, took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Here's a little secret that not everybody knows. When you get out of the military, you don't take another oath that says you're not going to abide by that first oath. So I'm still obligated.
You're still bound.
I'm still obligated.
Right. That's, a lot of people probably hadn't thought that far ahead.
Well, they might want to take a look at that.
Exactly. And if you think this issue is not something serious, here's a headline from February 10th. This State Journal Register in Springfield, Illinois, says gun seizure laws grow in popularity. It's right there. And I got one more poll, which it didn't poll me. Majority of Americans favor stricter gun laws. So I'm not making this up. It's a very real thing. Gun control. Use both hands.
Yeah.
That's what.
Breathe.
Breathe,
right?
Breathe and squeeze. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got us a call. Go ahead, caller.
What's up, Steve?
What's going on? How you doing?
Okay. Is this where I register? I'd like to register that in the bathroom I use my right hand.
Okay. Well, do you watch social media while you do that?
No. They might want to take my gun if I do that.
Exactly.
No, I wanted to ask your guest, Steve. Does he think anybody will ever accuse Adam Schiff of toxic masculinity?
No, I don't.
I think he's pretty safe. I think he's going to get a pass on that.
That's a good.
Does he even know which bathroom to use?
Well, I thought I read on social media somewhere where he wasn't quite sure. So.
You'd probably be right, and he wouldn't be the only one. But yeah, he ranks right there at the top.
Well, did you see what happened to your hero today?
Oh, who's that?
They dropped Jussie's charges today.
Oh, I seen that. I seen that. Yeah, a lot of angry people over that. How many?
I believe they had 16 police officers assigned to that case in Chicago. That doesn't really need 16 police officers to go out and try to solve the murders that they're leading the nation in.
No, you wouldn't want to do anything like
first.
That. Yeah. And you know what about this? The other thing about this is that he forfeited his $10,000 worth of bond. Just say, you guys can have it, because he's that rich apparently, because that show pays that well apparently. So,
well, I guess he's probably going to get the raise. Well, he's probably getting one now. He's got 10 times more publicity by being a jerk off than he ever did, because I never even heard of the show.
No, I hadn't either.
And never will.
Yeah, it's not on my...
Especially now.
Yeah, I'm not going to Netflix that puppy anytime soon. So, yeah, it's... it is, though, honestly, as funny as... I can't believe it. Well, I guess I can. But that is a slap in the face to every police officer that went out there and busted their butt, because I guarantee you they were out there going, man, this can't happen. We can't let this happen. And they're out there busting their butt for a lie. And then
exactly.
Well, then it's okay.
It's bad. It's bad if Rahm Emanuel's pissy about it.
Yeah, you ain't a kid.
Yeah, he likes that kind of stuff. That's right up his alley.
So if it scratched him the wrong way, there's something ought to smell real bad.
Oh man, And yeah, it's bad when, like you said, when Rahm Emanuel comes out and condemns.
This is a guy who sends dead fish and stuff, didn't he? Wasn't a dead fish Emanuel or something like that?
Yeah, that's what they called him. Yeah,
he likes a lot of publicity, no matter what it is. But man, that's that's an embarrassment, and it's also such a double standard. Had the roles been reversed, that guy would have been in prison, or maybe they would have brought back the death sentence just for him in Illinois.
You would have never heard about it if it had been the other way around.
That's true. That's true.
Wow, it is pretty amazing. All the hype and publicity and everything, and then just up and out of the blue.
Come on. I mean, the second it broke, you couldn't have thought for a second that they could find two guys in Chicago with mega hats on for one. Seriously. I mean, you couldn't have possibly. I was like, there's no way. That place turns whatever color the Democrats by 6 o'clock on election night. There's no way there was two hats up there. Not unless Smitty and Deacon were up there on vacation.
Hey, we'd take you with us.
So you're going to have a witness.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, it was freezing cold that night also.
You think, hey, let's go get Subway. No, you know what? Uber Eats, bud. You can get your food delivered to you up there. I wouldn't walk out of my house.
But he needed a pay raise, so he might not have been able to afford it.
He'll probably go down in history as one of the greatest ever now because, really it's kind of Academy Award worthy. He convinced a bunch of idiots to believe him, so he did a pretty good job.
Especially a bunch of Hollywood loons.
Wow, that's just what they needed. How can you possibly, even if you're one of them, go, that's our guy. That's who we're getting behind.
That's our hero.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm going to line up behind right there when the next Civil War starts.
Oh, you're killing me. That's funny.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna get off here because Bob's probably trying to call you now.
Okay, I'm sure he's got something to say too. So,
okay, I just want to leave you with one thing, Steve.
Here we go. Are you going to give me a joke?
Well, I don't know. It might not be funny to some people.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen where he's tuned in yet.
What does Alexander Cortez believe an innuendo is?
Tell me.
An Italian suppository. Wow. I'm going to use that one. I'm going to go ahead and use that one. I promise.
Later.
Okay, we'll see you. Thanks for the call. Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, you know what? And that's the sad part. I never in my life would I believe we could sit here and actually have this conversation. Where did it go wrong? Where did this have to happen? I mean, honestly, the insanity that I see going on around us is just getting to the point. If it wasn't so dangerous, it is as laughable as we're laughing at now.
It really is. We've asked the question, how did we get here? How did we get to this point of stupidity where, you got this Smollet thing, you got people who don't know which bathroom to use, people infringing upon our Second Amendment, our First Amendment.
How do we get this hurt? They're so happy that all they care about their side more than they care about anything else. They want the president to fail, no matter what he does. Now, I'm sorry. You guys, in 2 terms we've seen, I did not like President Obama. I don't like him now. I thought he was the weakest punk I've ever seen in my life. I said that repeatedly, but never for a second did I want the commander-in-chief, the president of the most powerful nation in the world, did I want him to fail, because when he fails, I fail.
The country fails.
The country fails. Exactly. We all fail.
We can't have that.
You can't have that. So whether you like this president or you hate his guts, do you want him to fail so bad you're willing to give up your country just so you're what? Right? Okay, you're right. He sucked. Woo.
And what are you going to get out of it? Nothing.
No, you're going to be a socialist or a communist. And go over there. Let's do a reality show where we send them to a socialist or a communist country and see if they can survive for 6 months. I'd watch that more than I'd watch The Voice.
That would be a good one, too.
I'd really like to see that.
Send them to Venezuela because they've got a little business going on down there right now.
They showed in a 20-year time span what it looks like in socialism, and it destroyed everything. Very, very prosperous country at one point.
Because Venezuela is rich in oil. It was a prospering country.
That's where we got most of our oil.
Exactly. And look at it now. They have blackouts all the time.
Well, but the person running the place is a billionaire. You know, whatever her name is, she's a billionaire, the secretary of whatever, because that's what it's designed for. You know what? Too many people in this country fought fascism and communism. I can't even believe that we're having a conversation where a socialist is getting ready to run for the president of the United States. That, to me, I can't even fathom it.
Good point. I mean, there's a lot of people, I mean, from the start of this country to now, fought and died for our freedoms, and we're just going to give it away? We're going to go to the ballot box and just give it away? Are you kidding me?
To me, it blows my mind that we can have a sitting member of Congress or the Senate that is a communist, that is a socialist, that is a Muslim. Okay, yeah. I said it, boo-hoo. You know, I mean, it just blows my mind that we can even have this conversation. 9/11 wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
And how did we get here? I mean, seriously, I think our kindness really got in the way of our strength. You know, I don't think it means there's weakness, but we tried to be so politically correct that we weren't going to be mad. That look what we got.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, there you are. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing fine. You're harder to get a hold of than a quadriplegic trying to touch his own dick.
Oh, wow.
Gotta say, I've never heard that one, but I'm going to use that also.
What's going on this evening?
Oh, I don't know. I once again is unable to, see what you guys are talking about. As usual, I don't care. I have my own agenda tonight, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got my own conspiracy collusion theory.
Okay.
And it involves the calendar.
Okay.
If you've noticed, February only has 28 days.
Yes.
But you'll notice January and March have 31.
Okay.
And I don't see any reason why February can't have 30 days. And I think it was by President Trump and the racist Republicans. That's why it's Black History Month, only having 28 days. So I've been, I'm going to England, going to the Greenwich and find out why, with the time clocks, why February can't have 30 days. And I know President Trump and the Republicans are the ones that's kept February down to 28 days.
Probably, yes.
Please don't say that loud. It'll be on CNN tomorrow. Almost certainly this is going to lead CNN tomorrow.
Yes. And being a liberal socialist myself, I've been in contact with the Sanders and occasional Cortex camp, and I will be on the phone with them early tomorrow. All I can say is I told Steve about the Sean Hannity opening monologue last night on his show with Fox News, and if you guys haven't touched upon that, I just thought that Hannity really just put it out there, hit it right on the head, and it was an outstanding monologue. Yeah, I just want to say he said everything I think all of us out here wanted to say or have felt or thought for 2+ years.
Yeah, because he gave him hell, didn't he? He's on a rampage. About 35 minutes worth. Was his monologue.
Good.
Yeah, he didn't hold back.
Well, we've had 2.5 years of this shit, guys, and having it force-fed down our throats how bad everybody is. Trump this, Trump that. And I think, Steve and I've talked about how this has basically just been an embarrassment to the country. It's been an embarrassment to the presidency. The man was the most, powerful position in the world. And they reduced him to pissing on his friggin' whore. He's mentally unstable. He's unfit. And I think that, that the media right now has to be held 100% accountable, but I know that's not going to happen.
No, they're not going to hold themselves accountable. The only ones you'll see Fox News do it, but I'm kind of questioning them a little bit right now. But with a couple of moves they've made, but they're not going to hold themselves responsible. They're just going to say, Well, let's find something else to beat Trump on. We'll see what we can beat him up with this week. So
You can't win. I mean, we just can't win no matter what. The guy could cure cancer for real, and they would be mad at him for putting doctors out of business. I mean, seriously, there's nothing that this guy can possibly do that's going to be good enough because they are so dead set on making him wrong, but they never give us what's right. You know, they've bitched about this wall since he said we were going to have it built. It's not built because he doesn't want it. It's built because they don't.
But they wanted it at one time, which is really confusing.
5 years ago, they voted way more money. But, I mean, I've never heard him say a good reason why we don't want it built. He's made himself very clear.
Well, Pelosi says it's immoral. Well, you know what's immoral is letting a bunch of people in this country that don't belong here.
What's immoral is when one illegal immigrant kills one American, period.
Exactly.
That's immoral because we live in this country, and it should have like we've said a million times, when a Black Hawk helicopter goes down now, they should run away from it. They shouldn't run to it. And you're bringing them here for that? Yeah. You're bringing the same people.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how this did not become a national emergency. I all of a sudden now, since Trump has proposed this and trying to push it, now there's no situation down on the border. And good Lord, I mean, it's like you say, a few years ago it was all hands on deck, and now it's like, no, everything. Don't look this way. Nothing to see here, folks. But it's like you guys say, it's just what he said, what Hannity said last night, and what we all know is there's a lot of people eating crow today or this week, and I know you guys are going to push that agenda. And have a great show, guys. Steve, you guys take care and continue on with what you're doing.
Okay, thanks for the call.
Thanks. All right, bye-bye.
But and he's talking about the crisis that he's claiming to get to pull money from other areas. But prior to him saying that, when we had all these people coming to the border and they were getting turned around or being separated from their families, and we lost 2 children, which is a terrible thing, don't get me wrong, but it was a crisis then. But now when he says, and you had Chuck Schumer stand up there saying, Mr. President, you can fix this problem. So when he does, they don't like that either.
You know what they should do? I mean, honestly, if you want to make this real, and they say it's not an issue and it's not an emergency, but we do have a border, and we can enforce our rights of having a border because we're a sovereign nation, so we should be able to, you're in your house, if somebody kicks open your door, you can shoot them. And that's because your house is sovereign to you, and you got a right to protect yourself.
Right.
So as a country, we have that. So let's go put some interlocking fields of fire with some M60 Echo 3 machine guns, and if you cross that border illegally, we shoot you. Is it an emergency then?
Oh, I'm sure it would be.
Then would it be?
You can't do that. Yeah.
Would it be way more humane to build a barrier between us, like every other country on Earth? Except for Canada, and I'm wondering about those guys sometimes. Just hovering above us like that. I don't like that. But
they talk about a border is not, you got to do something. You got to put boots on it. Yes, you got to put boots on it. The wall is not going to do it by itself. Okay, well, let's go with a border, a boundary. It's not going to do it by itself. You have to have the technology and the people there to enforce it. What you don't need is walls that go 10 miles and have gates in it, that are unmanned.
A revolving door, you mean?
Yeah, like that people can just walk through it. That's stupid.
The bottom line is, first of all, I mean, that we don't have one is the crisis itself. Sure. That we have a sovereign country without a border that you can freely come across whenever you want to. Now, we can take all the money that we're going to put into illegal immigration and the welfare that we give them and build about 30 walls. We can man it every 10 feet with a machine gun. We could do whatever we have to take. And the part that just blows my mind, never one time, not one time, our president, who, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, is married to a legal immigrant.
Yes.
Has he ever said he is against immigration? He said illegal immigration.
Right.
He wants people to come here. I want people to come here. I get why they want to come here.
Absolutely.
I wonder a little less now, but I mean, at one time when you come to the greatest country in the world, absolutely you should be able to share in this, and we want you here the right way. We want you to pledge allegiance to the United States. We want you to come here and follow our laws and take your flag and shove it somewhere else.
because you're in the greatest country in the world now. You came here for a reason.
During the mass immigrations in the the late 1800s and the early 1900s, I mean, let's think about it. Those people came here with one goal and one goal only, and that was to become an American.
Exactly, because it ensured a better life.
Absolutely. I've read stories where the parents would absolutely discipline their children for speaking their native tongue because they were Americans now.
And what gave them a better life was the Constitution. Crazy.
Seems like a circle here that I'm starting to follow. The FBI would call this a clue. I'm starting to see something here.
And, getting back to the wall, you hear the liberals talk, well, they catch all these drugs at the legal points of entry and so on. They catch them all there. Well, how much are not coming through the legal points of entry? You don't know that because you don't care, apparently.
Well, no, because it brings in money. Let's call it what it is. It brings in money. It brings in Democratic votes. I guess I'm not supposed to say that, but guess what? It's the truth. I mean, now we're given driver's license. Now we want voting rights for illegal. That is the most ridiculous. I mean, seriously, I can't vote for the governor or the mayor of Chicago, but an illegal immigrant can vote for my president? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. And there's places, I believe in California, where they're allowing illegals to vote in local elections because they say, well, it's part, they're involved with this, especially with the school board. It's involving their life. Well, they're not supposed to be here.
Right. I mean, I want everybody to come here illegally. I want everybody to come here and enjoy this. I mean, who doesn't want that? I get it. I don't want to go to their shithole country. I mean, I've been there. I didn't like it. I went there before it was all resorts. I mean, you go down to TJ on the Friday night. Ooh,
yeah, don't go there.
1988, it was something.
Hey, let's switch to the big news that came out Friday afternoon about the Mueller investigation released his findings that there was no collusion. Said there was no collusion whatsoever. So was it Attorney General Barr come out with his summary of the thing? Said there's no collusion. There's never been any collusion. But, and the Democrats still out there, we need more investigations because we don't think that's right. Or there was obstruction. Well, what part of the investigation did he obstruct? Because I missed that part.
Let's go back. During the election, I don't remember one Russian spy coming in the booth with me. I don't remember one. I don't. Where did this happen? If they colluded with the Russians to win, how? Can somebody show me one person that says somebody a Russian held a gun to their head and made him vote for Donald Trump?
Didn't happen. Didn't happen.
You know why he got elected? Because they were tired of the Democratic side. Period.
They were tired of the status quo altogether.
And if Hillary wouldn't have robbed Bernie, we'd probably be calling Bernie president right now because it was going to be not them.
Well, and Bernie, he just wants to give everything away to everybody, so why wouldn't people vote for him?
But has made all his millions. And this is something else, Smitty, we got to talk about. We keep gliding over this like it's no big deal. These people have been in Congress and the Senate for 15, 20, 30 years at $140,000, $175,000 a year, and they're multimillionaires.
Funny how that works.
Why are we not looking at that? I mean, is it because, the far left and the far right keep fighting over the same things, and they're dividing and conquering us to do something, so we just keep our attention on the big prize?
Right.
What about the small stuff that's going on right in front of our face that we go, oh, okay.
Yeah, where's the investigation into this stuff?
Yeah, I want to see why Nancy Pelosi's worth so much money.
I don't think she's worth a whole hell of a lot myself.
She ain't worth nothing to me. I really don't like her.
No. But this came out Friday, late on a Friday afternoon, which that's when the big breaking news happens, I suppose. But, you see all the people out there crying in their beer. It's like the 2016 election all over again.
Oh, my God.
It's terrible. We're going to need more safe spaces, more cuddlists, more llamas to pet and all kinds of shit.
And we got to get real nitty gritty dirty on this. This is getting to the point where we really, really are. I'm firmly believe we're at a tipping point where we could seriously see, you vote socialism in, you fight socialism away from you. It doesn't go away with talk. It has to be stamped out with guns and violent people. So, we're at a point right now where I think we are at a tipping point where we're seriously, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm not a person that's negative, but I honestly think we're getting to the point where we're talking about another civil war.
On two fronts.
On two fronts. And
the one's on socialism, the other one is the Constitution.
The Constitution. I mean, we're talking about this thing getting out of hand to the point where violence is going to be needed. And I don't want it to come to that.
It should never come to that. The system was designed so we don't have to do that.
But the problem is, Smitty, we got the far left and the far right. We got both of them. They stand their ground. Everybody knows our side. But what about the 80% in the middle that are just standing there watching this go by? You're going to be affected too.
Well, absolutely. They just don't know it yet.
You're going to have to pick a side, and you're going to have to defend your side. Unfortunately, if you don't do something now, you're going to have to defend your side, your rights, your Constitution with violence. And I don't think you want that. I don't think anybody wants that. But we're pushing to that. So you better get off your lazy ass. And you better sit there and say, that's enough. We need to draw the line in the sand somewhere soon. And we need to get, and this is going to blow a lot of people's mind, we need to get an open discussion with both sides to sit down at the table and say, what's best for America?
What's best for America? That discussion, it may be tough to come by.
It might be tough, and I'm telling you, we talked about it. I thought this is the perfect time. Things have gone so chaotic and so crazy that we need to sit down because I think there's more reasonable people than idiots. I really, really, truly believe that. We got to sit down. We got to come up with some solutions to these problems. And if you're not going to be involved in this rhetoric, then you can see the path we're going down. I've yet to find anybody. I cannot find, of my 3 liberal friends, I've talked to 2 of them to sit down and say, hey, I'll give a little bit this time, and nobody will do it. So is that it? I mean, are we already there?
No, because if you really sit down and have a civil discussion, left and right together, you'll find out that a large percentage of the time you're not that far apart.
You would think that, but I mean, seriously, trying to get a conversation started between left-leaning and right-leaning and have a civil conversation is very difficult. It's getting to the point where I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull it off. I think people really have to start getting involved. So if you're listening to this show and you're on our side, the right side, the better side, and by the way, we did pick the right side if this comes to a civil war, you need to open up a conversation and say, hey, let's come up with a solution. Let's do it right now. What's the solution? There's a lot of crime. We just talked about it at the beginning with guns in Chicago. How do we fix it?
Well, first off, you don't have gun-free zones. You still there's some people that don't need weapons that are
absolutely. Who decides that?
Well, that's going to be up to the state police. I assume.
We just said we don't like them deciding that. Remember, they're going to look at our media.
I know. Well, no, not the media, but I mean,
our social media. They don't. How are we going to decide? I mean, we got to give and take a little bit on this.
Right.
I think we really do. We talked about it. Let's make it, if you use a weapon in a crime, if you use a weapon for part of that crime,
for the crime, yes.
Let's put a mandatory sentence on that, and I mean a big one. 25 years. You rob a store with a handgun, 25 years, non-negotiable, no plea bargain. You get found guilty of robbing that store with a gun, it's 25 years plus whatever you did.
Okay. Now, you're talking about giving some. See, I don't like mandatory sentences, but if that's what it takes to curb crime and keep our Second Amendment, okay, possibly it's open for discussion, yes.
At least get I know that we do it every day. We talk to people that we don't know if they're liberal or if they're conservative. We talk to them all day. We're not mad at them. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at you now if you're a liberal. I think you're a dummy, but I mean, for the most part, I'm not going to judge you on your political beliefs. I am going to judge you when you start having your political beliefs take away my rights.
Then there's a problem.
Period. And that's, I think, the biggest difference I've ever seen is the conservative side wants their rights enforced and they want to be left alone. And it seems like the left-leaning want to infringe upon my rights. I can't let that happen.
Not going to happen. But anyway, let's get back to Trump and the collusion just a little bit.
I thought that's where we were.
Yeah, well, we started there, but
yeah, I bounced a little bit. ADHD probably.
But if you would listen to the mainstream media, he was guilty of all kinds of stuff. Okay, there's a few right-leaning stations out there that are saying, you know what, the investigation we think is a sham. It was based on a faulty dossier. The FISA warrants were not substantiated, or they were misleading, and you got this investigation going. But you know what? We don't like it. But it is what it is. But, you know, you watch the mainstream media, they had Trump convicted and everything but sentenced, and then it comes out different. So what happened to justice? I mean, going through the rule of law. And here's another thing, too, is everybody's talking about, well, we need to have the popular vote because the majority rules. If the majority would have ruled in this case, and I'm looking at the media outlets at this point, if the majority would have ruled, Trump would have never been able to be sworn in because they'd already had him tried and convicted. We'd just been waiting to sentence him.
Well, I don't know what the majority is anymore. I know what the media portrays to me as the majority.
Right, and that's who I was referring to as the majority of the media.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a shame that we have to look at, try to find an open-minded media outlet. And I'm sorry, but there isn't one. You shouldn't be able to tune in to a news broadcast that more likely shows your point of view. How about somebody just telling me, first of all, somebody tell me what he did to collude, whatever the word is.
Collusion, yeah.
What did he do? Where's one?
They didn't find any.
If they had somebody, they would have showed it. If they would have had proof, we'd already know it.
Oh, well, that's one of the things one of the broadcasts said. You don't have to worry about what's in Mueller's investigation because everything's been pretty much leaked out there. So,
absolutely. I mean, I want to know, first of all, I don't even get what they're actually charging him with. I mean, collusion with the Russians to steal the election. Did the Russians vote? I voted. You voted.
And you know what they said? The Russians. Well, they use social media. Go ahead. They use social media to go out there and influence people's decisions. Well, you know, what do political ads do? It's the same thing. It's what we do, because a lot of times we're out there trying to influence people's votes with our point of view, and you don't have to agree with us. That's fine. But you know, we're out there influencing people. All your political ads are out there influencing people, and that's what they're accusing the Russians of doing, is influencing and trying to sow discontent in our country. But I mean, political ads do the same thing. They're out there trying to sway your vote. In some cases, trying to buy your vote, depending upon what they got going on there. But it's the same type of thing. So this collusion thing, the Russians didn't vote. And there's another thing that kills me. You're worried about Russians interfering with our election, but you want to let illegals vote. That confuses the hell out of me. How does that happen? Because if it's okay for illegals to vote, then you may as well fly Putin over here and have him at the ballot box in D.C. or someplace and go ahead and cast his ballot. So, you know, that argument doesn't hold water. So let's see what else we got here. We're gonna get some shout out here because we haven't talked about anybody who's tuned in here recently. Let's go back here a little bit. We got a lot of people tuned in tonight, Tim.
All right.
Yes. Let's see. You got Dan Lenning. We got Scott Zimmerman, Lynn Johnson, Dan Horton, Jennifer Horton, Wanda Kleinlein,
Wanda Jean,
Aaron Waterstadt, Jack Hamilton, Nicole Zimmerman, Roy Smith, Penny Ruiz, Jim Holder,
Penelope,
Bob Fisher, Ben Burnett, Vaughn Clark, David Holtz, Rosanna Polito, Cheryl Henthorne. All right, we got a slew of them out there. You drew a crowd tonight.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was me. They knew you. How long ago did you put out that I was coming on with you today?
I didn't.
I didn't think you did. No, Smitty, though, we got a real situation here. I mean, we got a real situation after this collusion. I just don't want to see any president fail. I don't know why anybody would like that, and they would weaken our country by doing this. There's got to be a solution, and the people, you are the solution. You're the solution when you go out there and vote and you get actively involved with the process, because there's only one way to do it, and that's it.
Right. And you know what really irritates me is make an educated, informed decision. Don't be one of these people They say, well, my grandfather voted for this party, my father voted for this party, and that's just what I do. Well, then you say, well, what about this issue? Well, that sucks. That's just stupid. Well, your candidate's backing this idea. Well, I'll vote for him anyway. That's ridiculous.
And do me a favor. Don't regurgitate everything you hear on Fox News. Don't regurgitate everything that comes out of Sean Hannity's mouth or I don't know anybody on CNN, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All those people on there. Don't regurgitate that. Tell me what you think. Tell me what the best solution is. I want to hear it. If you come up with a solution to gun violence without infringing on my Second Amendment right, I'll back you 100%. If you can come up with a solution, I mean, this, abortion up to the 9 months? No. I mean, that's not going to happen. There's got to be, well, what if it was rape or incest? Well, that's 2%. Let's talk about that 2%. Let's come up with a solution for that, but not just a bad choice and a lack of common sense to use contraception. You can get it anywhere.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. You can get it anywhere.
And let's find out what's the real big divide between the left and the right? What is it really? Is it because I just want to be right more than you? Is that it?
It beats me.
I have rights and you want to take them away? You're not going to do it. Let's settle that right now. You're not going to take our guns away. It's not going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. So let's move on. Let's talk about a solution to crime. Let's talk about a solution to gun violence.
Illegal immigration. We got all kinds of things to talk about.
Absolutely, we can talk about it because I just don't see how you can argue with the fact that, look, I want people to be able to immigrate legally to the United States. We're not saying you can't come here. You just got to do it right, and you can't be an MS-13 member because we don't like you because you're a nasty piece of crap. I mean, seriously.
That's
and
exactly
let's
right.
be honest about it, because you're not worthy to come into the United States. That's it. Because
Bottom
you're
line,
a
yes.
gangbanger, you're a murderer, you're this and that. We got our own problems here. We don't need yours.
You're not fit to be here.
Exactly.
Hey, Brian, you're right. It is possible to be a liberal and be a Second Amendment protector. You're very right about that. So
exactly. We don't have as many differences, but we let the media, we let government decide that we're so separate that they divide and conquer and do whatever they want while we're arguing the big points. We've stated the big points. We've stated them a million times. We know what they are. Let's come up with some. Who stated a solution? I haven't heard the social or media say, here's the solution. Here's a good answer to gun violence. I haven't heard him say that. All I heard him say, well, let's take away guns.
Right.
That's not going to work. You can't be that stupid.
Yeah, they
yeah,
can.
I guess
yeah,
you
they
can.
can. Yeah, they
if
can.
you try hard enough. But you know what? Who's stupider, that AOC or the people that elected her?
Yeah, very good point.
The freaking Muslim extremists, Omar, whatever her name, are the people that elected
the backed her. Yeah,
but they got to look, Smitty. They got to take a look, and you got to look at history. Hitler didn't come to power overnight.
No,
he started off slow. He got into a political party of fascism, and then was elected into the government and slowly eroded the rights. It's right at our feet, folks. It's right here and it's right now.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention. It's here.
Yeah.
You just got to open your eyes and see it.
You keep expecting somebody else to do something about it. It's you that's got to do it. And I'm not talking violence. I'm talking about getting involved in the process that we were blessed to be born into. And get on the phone with your congressmen and your senators, state and federal, and tell them.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, I'm listening to the show. This is Rosanna. And, I've always heard that look on your own side of the fence first before you go pointing fingers. And, we're on your show talking about the left. Mm-hmm. I think we need to look at ourselves first and say, what's going on here? Especially look at Illinois, our Rhino GOP party.
Right.
And this is what I've seen lately. And this is what I believe is wrong with conservatives in Illinois. People are talking about this one guy in the Illinois legislature that has a big mouth. He's always shooting off his mouth. Well, that's great. He's talking about problems, pointing fingers. And now everyone says, well, this guy should be in Congress. So this is what I said. Okay, everyone can shoot off their mouth, but what has he done? What bills has he passed? What, and so I see that people, listen, I grew up in a time where you got promoted on merit.
Ooh, wow.
Not shooting your mouth off. Anybody can do that. We can all do that. But show me the results. The proof is in the pudding. And that's what I see. Honestly, with the last election, first of all, no conservative did their homework with Bruce Rauner. And
True.
I was against Bruce Rauner. I did my homework, and I got ostracized and by the Illinois Tea Party, by the way, and so did a lot of other people. Okay, now, the new person down the track is Jeannie Ives. Okay, well, nice lady. She may be the nicest lady on planet Earth. And this is all I said, and I got bombed. I said, okay, what has she done in her time in the General Assembly? What bills has she passed? Give me something to say that she's merited a promotion. And people didn't want to hear that. They threw eggs at me, so to speak. So this is what's wrong with our side. Show me somebody who has done something. Now, I'm going to tell you what. March 10th, I went to Effingham. I drove 2 hours to a rally. Mm-hmm. There are 3 legislators right now that I see are really striving. They had a town hall. 1,500 people showed up. This is what should be going on all across Illinois. Everybody's mad. Our legislators should be having town halls saying, we want to hear from you.
Because they work for us.
What a concept.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they work for us, they forget that.
But that's what's wrong with our side. That is what is wrong with our side. So we can be promoting all these people with an R after their name, and it's not going to get us anywhere, just like Adam Kinzinger, who was part of the whole Trump takedown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very well.
I agree with everything you say. You have to look at yourself first. And we got to quit regurgitating everything we hear all the time, and we got to quit saying our points over and over again. We got to sit there and go, now what? Get somebody in there to speak to you. Work for us. We keep saying legislators work for us. Are we holding them accountable? I didn't look like it.
No, because they keep getting voted back into office. We see this with our career politicians. The voters are not holding these people accountable.
That's exactly right.
You're absolutely right. And I'm going to tell you a revelation. I'm sure you've heard of the sanctuary counties for guns. Mm-hmm. And I am telling you, I've had such a revelation. I opened up a newspaper here in Springfield, and I started reading the article, and this is what it said. If you look at the map of gun sanctuaries in southern Illinois, my county, Sangamon County, is surrounded by all the counties who've adopted the resolution for sanctuary for gun owners. We're like this hole in the middle. Over 60 counties have adopted this resolution. So I'm reading this, and I went and testified before with other people, and we went back and we tried to get them to adopt the resolution or even talk about it. It's like they were Stepford wives. They wouldn't even move. They just kind of had this look on their face, staring out into the, abyss. Mm-hmm. This article that I read on Friday, just this past Friday, said this. The Sangamon County Board Republican chairman has donated over $9,000 to Michael Madigan.
Oh, really?
A Republican, to Michael Madigan, and has donated maybe about $2,000 to an organization that is dedicated to electing Democratic candidates.
That's amazing.
Are you still standing? You're right. These are the things we don't know, but But you know what? We have a good God. This is being exposed. Lord willing, what we are planning now, March 31st in Decatur, Sangamon County, the gentleman who is in the General Assembly, Tim Butler, and Dan Calkins out of Decatur, they're having a town hall. We're going to have a press conference there demanding that Andy Van Meter, Republican Party chairman, resign.
Oh, yeah, if he's going to do that, I mean, because Mike Madigan is one of the biggest problems in this state. So if he's contributing
right.
to his campaign, this guy's got to go.
Drain the swamp.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, guys. I've said my piece, and good show.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, and I hope to see you tomorrow because I plan on being in Springfield for iGold. I know you'll be there.
Yes.
So
I'm going to help. I'm going to help the gentleman who has Illinois separation collect signatures. We have tables out.
Okay, super. I hope to see you tomorrow.
All right.
I plan on being there. So
Fabulous.
all righty. Thanks for the call.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, good.
All right.
Hey, we got two more people tuned in here. We got Kent Mitchell and Jamie Anderson Franks tuned in.
Hey.
Yes. We're out of time, so I want to hit this iGold thing again. It's tomorrow in Springfield. It starts about 10:30 at the Bank of Springfield Center, which used to be the old Prairie Capital Convention Center. The thing starts. The program begins at 11:45. Do not bring a weapon. I know we talked about that too.
Whatever.
Okay, and you're there to make a point, so make a point to your legislatures. Don't find yourself on the 6 o'clock news. Be respectful. Don't litter.
I'm not going to say be respectful. I'm done with being respectful, if I ever really was.
But you know what I mean. I mean, we're out here talking to our legislatures. We're trying to get them to follow the Constitution, which you really shouldn't have to do that, but it seems to be an issue.
You need to get out there and you need to get involved right now before it gets to the point where there is violence, and we don't want that. We don't condone it at all.
Exactly. Hey, we got Phil Crary tuning in tonight, too. So we'll wrap things up. Remember, gun control is using 2 hands. Hey, if you love your country, you love your freedom, thank a veteran. Thanks for turning on and tuning in. Tim, thanks for coming on this evening.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. May God bless. We'll see you next time.
God bless you.